I'm thinking back on all those times when I felt closed off from all that I could become, eager but too scared to climb. Wanted to please my friends, but it felt like the end of myself. I was shut down and all drained out. I was lost, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me. But now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am, this is who I am now. No matter what they're saying, this is who I am, this is who I am now. They think that I have lost my mind, that I'm not being true, but they don't have a clue. 'Cause this is me when I cut out all the shallowness and everything I suppress to fit in a small frame. But I won't play your game anymore, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me. But now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am, this is who I am now. No matter what they're saying, this is who I am, this is who I am now. I'm gonna let them talk, but I ain't following nobody else. How can I be resentful when I finally respect myself? I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me. But now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am, this is who I am now. No matter what they're saying, this is who I am, this is who I am now.
You and I, we never show emotions, we just keep it down, down inside. Yeah, you and I, both longing for expression for the things we like, but we stay quiet. Hold me now, tell me things, tell me all about how you feel. Just let yourself go. Say it loud, wake the world on the other side, make it real. Just let yourself go, just let go. Ooh, just let go. Oh yeah, just let go. Ooh, just let go. Just let yourself go. Let yourself be new. Yeah, what if we could grow just like the flowers through the concrete? Just you and me. Just let go. Ooh, just let go. Just let go. Ooh, just let go. Just let yourself go. 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 Just let yourself go. Let yourself go.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to the Garrett Advancing Motion Sydney Jamboree for 2025. My name's Rusty Gregory. It is fantastic to be with you today. Joining me up here in the commentary box, or one of the commentators that will be joining me in the commentary box. She's got the Pit Vipers on. Janie, how you going?
Very well, thank you. How are you going, Rusty? How exciting is this Jamboree 2025 here at Sydney Dragway?
Look, the entry list is something else. I had a quick look at it a little bit earlier on in the week, and I was absolutely licking my lips in anticipation, and we're jumping straight into it this morning. We have got J275 on track right now, and that's presented by Boosterline Connecting Rods, the first purpose-built rods for power adder applications. The patented three-pocket design was specifically engineered for demanding turbocharged, supercharged and big nitrous applications, and provides 60% more bending strength compared to common H-beam rods, part of the race-winning brands family. And big thank you to Boosterline Connecting Rods for their support of the event. Now, we're not mucking around. First car on track, Keith Hards in the Dandy Engines Fueltech XW, the famous XW, taking on Danny Busbridge in the Holden Tirana. There's nothing like jumping in with both feet to kick things off.
I know. What has Kelly done to the schedule? Normally we're starting off with something like Street Compact or All Motor, but no, we're going straight into J275.
Hey, well, if you got it, you may as well flaunt it, eh? Big hello to everybody watching on the Jamboree live stream on YouTube, and of course that is presented by RealStreetPerformance.com, a brand new partner for this week, and a big welcome to them. So, Danny Busbridge in the left lane, the yellow Tirana, small block Chev underneath the hood, taking on Keith Hards, that iconic XW Falcon, out of the Dandy Engines Workshop from Allensford in Victoria. As always, Frank Marchese looking on from behind, casting his keen eye over things. J275, Pro 3, heads up racing. Nothing like getting into it right off the bat.
Oh, Busbridge is out of there. 135 reaction to Hards is too flat. Busbridge straight down the dial, pulls the shoots, goes 725, 191 miles an hour, and for Hards a 7900, 183 in the Falcon.
I reckon he still rolled out of it just a touch early down there too. At 191, still very good speed for a 7.2, but looked like he was just out of it and maybe had the shoots out early. As we see Paolo Tortorello rolling up to the line in the CV Performance Cortina. This is such a cool car, this thing. And taking on the Falcon down there in the Rocket Industries lane. Don't have any details in our computer system, but I'm sure that will change as the day goes on. Entrant number 9757. Very nice. Very low slung Falcon down there. So the bar has already been set. 7.25 best run. Who have we got?
Yeah, we got Danny Howe down there in the Falcon.
There we go.
I know he was out here testing over the past couple of days as well, making the most of the Jamboree experience.
Got to say a big hello to everybody who's watching online, and a big hello to all of our presenting partners as well. Fueltech, our product partners, Summit Racing Equipment, brand new partner for this event. PRP, Platinum Racing Products, as we said, Real Street Performance, and Shannon's for the show and shine today. We'll be going through the long list of sponsors, probably the longest list of sponsors that I think just about any event has in Australian drag racing. Fantastic to see. And it's a testament to what has been built here with Jamboree. Very nice launch for Tottarella. Gets off the line, gets up the boogies down there. And the nitrous car goes 7:59. Just went away a little bit from half track, 180 miles per hour.
Oh, big move there for the Falcon, though, through the finish line.
He's still fighting it down there too. 7:38 at 176 after really boosting it up off the start line. 7:38, and he was driving that thing from pretty much half track all the way through to about, I don't know, 500 feet past the finish line. That was very, very tight. All right, next up, it is Andrew Coles taking on Lee Povey. Tell you what, we got some hitters in this J275 class. And if you are a fan of Jamboree, and you're probably wondering, where is the voice of Jamboree, Chris Diggles? He's sitting behind us at the moment. He's resting the vocal cords for the time being. He's too busy trying to kiss everybody, I think, this morning. He's been walking around planting kisses on everyone's cheek. It must be a Queensland thing, that's all I can say. And Mr. Diggles, you're trying to turn the microphone on. Usually if the red light's on, that's a good sign. How are you, mate?
Is that how it works?
That's how it works, yeah.
You can hear us through your cans.
I've got you.
Here you go. Mwah. There you go. There you go. And one for you, Jane. Mwah. There you go as well. Hello to everyone in the Jamboree family, not only here but right around the world on the Real Street live stream. And it is so good to be back here in Sydney. It's one of our couple of metric meccas, of course. Our original metric meccas, Willowbank Raceway, a bit later on in the year. And, of course, our one at the Bend. I do believe we're going to hit the Bend in South Australia before the end of the year as well. But Sydney, just an absolute hotbed. It's basically our first barometer of the year as to how does the scene look. And I'll tell you what, it's business as usual.
It's pretty healthy.
Oh, my goodness. And honestly, and it looks like we've got a tiny little bit of stuff to do here for Danny Howe. That XE Falcon absolutely hauling off the line. I think that's got to be a PB, a 738. But we've got something just trickled out of that car which we're going to pick up. But talking to actually one of the first guys I saw there as you walk through, basically it's royalty walking past. There's Georgie Haddad and all these guys. And there's Burnsy. And of course, Craig Burns, of course, built the Zeus R35 amongst others. He's running his own Pro Mod Mustang here this weekend. Of course, SCF Race Cars, chassis builder. He shows me a picture, and I don't know whether he meant to tell me in confidence, but guess what? He's got 5 more R35s to build. And would you believe, not all of them are here in Australia, they're getting exported. And then I asked him, which he didn't thought of. I said, well, what are the tariffs on that? So
that's a good question.
Trumpy, we got great people building great cars. They're great people. I don't know what's going to happen, right? Whether or not, I said, have you thought about that, Burnsy? You're exporting race cars to the States. Is that a tariff on that? But one of them's going to Trinidad and Tobago. A few others, of course, are in the United States. And you know what? This has all come from Rob Marjon and all his contacts. And, of course, anyone that saw Zeus when it first came out, and they go, where'd you get that from? So it was built in Australia. And next thing you know, there's R35s coming out of the Sydney workshop that are going to go right around the world. And would you believe all of them are going to be Nissan-powered, using, like, Australian billet Nissan, and including the CRD billet cylinder head. So if you talk about a barometer from last year to this year, I can't remember talking about this stuff just 365 days ago. This is stuff that's just been evolving over the years, and it comes back to one event. Jamboree comes back to one event. All of these guys started somewhere. Like, honestly, when you look at the workshops that have basically proven themselves in events like Jamboree over the last 2 decades, and look where they've built their empires to, through the racing and performance industry, and definitely out of what we call the mainstream part of drag racing. It's actually come out on its own. You just know that you get so. But people go, how do you get all pumped up at Jambo? You know, I don't fake it, mate. You come here and if you feel the energy and you know the strength that this event brings, not only on track, but just what the industry's doing in the background. And the industry, this is why, as you said before, we've got so many sponsors, we've got so many partners. It's because they're all seeing a benefit from this form of the industry. And I think more every year, we're tied to everywhere else in the world, the United States, Puerto Rico. Big shout out to everyone watching over there. That we are all part of that one community. And Jamboree has definitely started quite a lot of people on a path to greatness. And drag racing, for me, I still need to see that elapsed time come up on the screen.
Yes.
That's the ultimate measurement.
That's the benchmark. That's the dyno.
A win light is one part of greatness. The ET is another. Let's also look at something else that's been happening, especially in this part of the world, is that we have so many test days. I can never remember testing as much as we ever did. I remember back in the day, even before the Winter Nationals, you'd have a test, like almost a test event a week before, and then there's like rules you couldn't test.
Yeah,
and of course now, private testing you can do here, you can do in Victoria, you can do it at Willowbank, you can do it wherever you want. But we've got to get guys out of that habit of testing and, like today, race.
Yeah.
That R word.
Like, very rarely did you ever even hear about private testing.
No.
Private testing 20 years ago was not really a thing. You'd come out to the test and tune, you'd see everybody run at test and tune, everything from top fuel all the way through to junior drags, there's everything in between, including all these types of cars as well. But private testing was never something that you did because, well, you kind of wanted to show off a little bit. If you were going to run a number, you wanted to show off.
Oh, absolutely. You wanted to do that in front of people. But and I remember even back in the early days at Willowbank there, a certain drag racer called Victor Bray, and we've got to remember, we've got to keep telling these stories for people, for future generations, because they may not know.
We're the elders now. We're passing the stories down.
And I'm still older than you and you young whippersnappers. But I'll continue to the day I move out of here and go to the big bump city in the sky, that I'll tell all these stories. So Victor Bray, of course, one of our biggest household names in Australian drag racing. Of course, all that Castrol corporate money. In the old days of Top Door Slammer, Victor would hire Willowbank for private testing, and he would test things between suspension. He'd change from a 4-link to a ladder bar, and then he had something called a swing arm. And then for people that you hear back this information, it's like on one run it just sort of hazed out clutch dust like a fuel car, and then you realise he had 2 sets of brake calipers on each rear wheel, and he was trying things like trying to slow the wheel speed down. And I mean, data loggers, the old race packs, that's all they really had back then to what you can get now. So, testing was just something that professional drag racers did before an event. Now, private testing is basically, and remember, all the races you'll see today, and this is the thing that just blows my mind here in Australian drag racing, the events that we see here in this country, 98% of them are not professional drivers. They are not professional teams. They are recreational drivers. These cars are basically, I shouldn't say toys, but they are very big toys.
Yeah.
But the racing we see at the end of these events, it's professional standard.
100%.
The teams are so professional. The workshops are so professional. The tuners are so professional that you could mistakenly appear that we're watching professional drag racing, but we're not. We're watching amateurs.
World class,
World
I think
class.
is the word you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Now, we have just had a report that we do have a little bit of the slippery stuff at the top end of the racetrack. So we are going to be down for a little bit while we get this tidied up and get it cleaned up, which does explain why the car was moving around so much from half track on. But you're absolutely right. The list of sponsors here this weekend and corporate partners that we've got at the Garrett Advancing Motion Jamboree is second to none, without a shadow of a doubt. Of course, Garrett Advancing Motion, our naming rights partner, have been for, I'm going to say conservatively, 1 million years now. Yeah. I think that's safe to say. Yep. Presenting partner Fueltech as well. Hashtag Fueltech everywhere. If you don't know about Fueltech, you've been living under a rock for the last 5 or so years. Product partners Summit Racing Equipment, who's come on board this weekend. And I believe that we're going to be giving out some vouchers as well for 10% off at Summit Racing Equipment, which is very, very cool. Again, if you haven't checked them out, jump online, just Google Summit Racing Equipment. You can't miss it. They have got a massive, massive presence online and very, very good to deal with in terms of getting parts from the United States all the way over here. Platinum Racing Products as well. Real Street Performance, who's also come on board as our presenting partner for the live stream here this weekend. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. Shannon's Show and Shine, as always. We'll be giving out some trophies at around about 20 past 2 this afternoon up there on the hill. And, of course, Precision Turbo and Engine, Long Boost Performance, McKern and Associates, Manly Performance, Boost Line Connecting Rods, Mainline Smart Dyno Technology, and Speed Flow as well. And, of course, the Castrol Workshop Challenge, the Castrol Edge Workshop Challenge.
And what a great segue, because I guess this person beside me here is going to be you're not even having to do the workshop challenge, Shani.
I didn't bring my laptop, so
oh, well, hang on, the whole world stops. Whole world stops. She doesn't bring the laptop, can't
Does
do it.
that mean we have Janie just on commentary today?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a long time since that happened.
I know, right? That's all right, Janie. You don't need a laptop. Let me get you some A4 and something called a pencil, and you can do it all that way.
And an abacus and the calculator.
I need a calculator then.
Yeah.
And honestly, you would think after all these years at Jambo that old Diggs Briggs is a bit tech savvy. No, I still just need bits of paper and pencil.
And me to work it out for you.
Yeah. Teach me how to do a spreadsheet. Teach
Carry
me
the one.
You know how to do a PowerPoint presentation?
Who?
Do you know how to do one,
A
Rusty?
what?
Yeah.
Never heard of one.
You would. I don't. I'm still... Well, I shouldn't say I'm proud. I should say I'm proud of that. I'm not proud of that. But you know what? I got to this age and I'm okay.
I haven't got my pen license yet. I'm still working on crayons. So.
Are you still?
Yeah.
Well, you got to stop chewing them to start with. That'd be.
You're not supposed to eat them?
No.
Why do they make it taste so good?
Well,
then?
I thought the red ones were raspberry, but they weren't. Now look, Danny has definitely dropped his guts down the bottom there. Now I can't remember whether we were LS on that or whether we were Godzilla, because I know there's a few of the Godzillas now creeping in to those cars, and of course in Australia you've got to be careful when you say Godzilla in Australia, because we think of the original R32
means
GTRs.
something else.
And I'll tell that story to anyone outside the United States that may be listening or watching, is that, you know, we have such a rich and varied history in Australian motoring that no one else in the world got. When it came to our upbringing around motor racing. Of course, in the United States, if you're from the South, you'd get the NASCAR. If you were sort of other parts of the world over there, you'd get your IndyCar, you'd get your SCCA, which was the sports car racing. And of course NHRA and drag racing forever over there. Over here, of course, we had drag racing in its purest form. It was the only way you could race was at all of our traditional Andrew events back in the day. The rule book was the Bible, and you went from a quick street car to a drag strip, and then next thing you know, you got to put a cage in it because the rules said you got a certain speed, and basically you either become a drag racer or you didn't. Fast forward now to now, and not only can you drag race, you can roll race, you can drift, you can do your circuit stuff. We've got 1 million cars and coffees every weekend. You can use your automobile so much more than what you could back then. You kind of went to the drag strip or got impounded. That was kind of all you could do. But growing up in Australia, we had drag racing. We had something called the Australian Touring Car Championship, and that's where we got our turbocharged vehicles. Came through in that early 1980s. 80s was honestly, I'm a teenager in the 80s. You kids weren't nearly born yet.
I wasn't quite a teenager in the 80s.
But just what we saw in the 80s worldwide, and especially what we saw in Australia. So worldwide, we saw Formula One with turbos. We saw World Rally Championship with turbos. In Australia, yes, Bluebird turbos. That was kind of the first thing that we got over here in Australia. On our TV screens, you'd tune into Channel 2. Back when we had 4 channels, and again for people in the States.
My kids look at me stupid when I call it Channel 2.
Yeah,
they look at me
2.
like I'm an idiot, like I've had a stroke or something.
But I still call it Channel 2.
So do I.
You don't say the ABC.
No.
At least when you say Channel 9, they know what you're talking about.
True.
But Channel 2 back then, that you would go to the nation's broadcaster and watch your hero. And not that they were heroes back then, but you just saw them on TV. It was Peter Brock and Dick Johnson and Alan Grice and George Fury. And then we started seeing turbo Nissans in there. It's like, hang on, what are these invaders doing here? And then all of a sudden it's like, hang on, these things are really quick.
Yeah.
They were fragile at the beginning, but they were quick. And hats off to Nissan back in the day for actually being one of the first manufacturers. And even before turbos, if you looked at those lower classes at Bathurst, because Bathurst is the international measurement of motorsport. Bathurst, the one place you can go to measure motorsport. So back in the days, R100 Mazdas, Datsun 1200s, Datsun 1000s. We saw all of those cars in the one track. It's only when the Japanese manufacturers actually started to be competitive against the domestic products like our V8 Falcons and Commodores, even before that. And then for them to come into the 90s with turbo technology, that R32 came here. It was kind of game over. It scattered the domestic market. And Godzilla reigned supreme from that time on, so much so that they had to be banned. So we got that term Godzilla kind of from the R32. Of course, fast forward to now, Ford's done this beautiful 7.3-litre Godzilla V8, which kind of, not going to say it looks exactly like an LS, but I mean, as far as it's not a beauty contest between the Godzilla and the LS. They're two of probably the least attractive looking production V8s out there. But I tell you what, they're putting them in stuff. Dandy, especially down in Victoria, are putting the 7.3s and all sorts of things. They do respond very, very well to, now Harrop themselves are doing a supercharger for them. We're turbocharging them. And as I said, from memory, Danny may have got one of those on board, that XE. But they are a new way of making horsepower. Yes, they're not in our traditional sport compact sort of thing. But I mean,
But we're evolving.
We're evolving. We blurred the lines a few years ago because, remember, we were. You remember, Janie, you were a bit younger, but we used to have jamborees where you could pay money to sledgehammer a V8. We actually had a car in the pits at Brisbane Jamboree.
I'm listening.
Brisbane Jamboree, and of course it was the V-Dub car club back then, and you could pay to take a sledgehammer. I think it was an old XA or an XB.
Something like that, yeah.
Out of it would have been an XA 302.
Yeah.
Back when they were not worth much, and I can't believe we're saying this.
I know, sacrilegious now.
Isn't
You wouldn't
it
do it.
almost sounds like we're talking about the barbaric 1700s. I remember back
The Vikings arrived.
Yeah, I know. Back in the 1980s, you could take a sledgehammer to an XA V8. These days, it's almost a federal offence.
Yeah, you want to put them in cotton wool now.
We'll put it this
Do
way.
you know what they did with the car? We could probably salvage it.
Oh my God, I tell you what, mate, there wasn't much left of it by the end of the day. There was a lot of pent-up anger back then. There was a lot of V8 hate. But guess what? We've embraced them because, of course, we wouldn't say we blurred the lines, but we went to high tech. So as soon as, and again, when V8s came out with turbos on them, heaven forbid, and I remember one car that kind of, I remember the iconic day, you'd probably remember it, Janie, when a certain Tirana turned up, Mr. Mad turned up.
With the two little snails hanging out the front.
That twin turbo, small block Tirana that ran sixes in front of people, and people go, wow, where have these been? And so, well, look, up till now, we wouldn't tolerate the V8 power plant, but when you put turbos on them in EFI, we kind of accept them into our high-tech attitude that Jamboree's always continued to flourish with. And of course now J275, that's embracing not only like predominantly V8s in this class, high-tech V8s of course, but the radial, I shouldn't say the craze, it's not a craze, it's another form of racing that's never going to die, it's here.
Branch.
It's a branch. It's another form of racing.
Drag racing is the tree, and we have all these branches.
We have all these branches off the tree. Very well done, Rusty.
Yes.
Very well done.
So I come in handy every now and
3
then.
points and an extra kiss for you. So, and small tyre racing, I suppose that's another international language that we're all talking now. We've got small tyre stuff. We've got the high-tech stuff. That whole culture is now becoming more and more inclusive. Jambo's trying to be more inclusive by having all that too. And every time we turn up, we know we get a nice big field in J275. As we said before, our weather predictions today are to be HOT. It's going to be more than that. It's going to be almost to the point of probably being semi-unbearable. And hats off to everyone that's coming out today and being a part of that. Just make sure you do, and again, this is truly an Aussie thing to say, you slip, slop, slap. You said that in America, they think you did you've offended someone 3 different ways if you said that. Don't you forget to slip, slop, slap. What, you want me to fall over?
And then you're going to slap me?
Yeah, and then you want to fall over, you want me to be sloppy, and you want me to slap. That's offensive. No, over here it actually saves you from skin cancer. That's what we do. So make sure you do that. Keep your fluids up. I've already loaded up on the sunscreen. And remember, don't put anything near your eyes because that's the worst, nearly the worst pain you could feel other than childbirth, they say. I was actually talking to one of Danny Busbridge's crew on the way back, and his eyes are all puffed up. I said, "Why did you have a big night?" He goes, "No, I got sunscreen in my eyes yesterday, and it's bugged me all night." So if you do put on sunscreen, make sure you don't get anything near your eyes. I'll be putting the old Jamboree headband on a little bit later on. And of course, all your merchandise is up at the J tent. I think our Jambo merch tent's up here near the spectator viewing area. We've got that great new Transformer T-shirt up there. All of our great event-specific shirts. I still think they've got what I call the tennis set. I told them that was going to be. A big seller. I said, "You get me out the front there with me tennis racket and my wristband and my headband. You're going to sell tons." I think they've sold 3. But
everyone wants to be Chris Diggles, right?
No, they don't. And I think that's kind of where the marketing fell off the other end.
We had to put Rusty in the gear on
I know.
hand.
You've got to start using other people's names. The people go, "Oh, you're doing my event. I'll say that you'll come." I said, "Don't tell them I'm there."
No.
I really think if you don't tell them, you might get more people.
Fly under the radar. Yeah.
It's the best way to go. It's the best way to go. But it's so good to be back with you guys. We don't really get to operate together at all anymore. I mean, Rusty's sort of in and around the country doing his various events with the PDRC. Janie, of course, with her management role at Willowbank Raceway. So, I mean, the only time I can talk to Janie's probably 9 o'clock at night. When she's had about 2 wines in. That's when we get our best ideas.
That's when we all have our best ideas.
Absolutely.
A couple of hard ginger beers later.
You never answer when I ring at 9 because it's 10 down here. So
You're asleep.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, mate. I'm in bed.
And don't ring you at 6. fixed because he's doing dinner. You know,
That's-
like, so Rusty, you know, and I'm the same. I can't cook and make dinner. I can't talk and make dinner at the same time unless I had a headset.
That's what I do.
Yeah, do you? Is that what you do?
On the phone to you.
So all the time I hear the old fry pan going and everything like
Look,
that.
and to be fair, for anybody who's never received a phone call from Diggles, it's not a 5-minute phone call. This may surprise you to understand that if Diggles rings you, it's going to be at least an hour.
Yeah.
If you get off the phone in an hour, you're probably doing pretty well.
You're only the 2,000th person that's actually said exactly the same thing. Oh, it's him ringing. I won't answer because I don't have an hour. That's what they all say. They said, I don't have an hour. I said, yeah, well, it's never a 5-minute conversation. I've got stuff to say, mate. Just strap yourself in. It's an hour.
It's the one-man continuous call team.
It is. And then if I have to ring 24 people over the day, well, that's a whole day worth of fun, isn't it? I had plenty of stuff to say this week. No one answered. No one answered. I just said, "I'll see you in Sydney then."
That's why we don't want you to use it all up, mate. We want you to.
Oh, yeah, it won't be used up, mate.
Keep it all pent up and just get it out on the
I'm like
microphone.
a Tesla, mate. There's regen there, mate. Pump the brakes twice, and I've got more electricity.
So having a look at some of the comments that we're getting on the realstreetperformance.com live stream at the moment.
All good, I hope.
Someone's saying that we should fine people for putting oil down on the racetrack, and I think it's important to note that nobody goes out there to put oil on the racetrack intentionally. I think there's enough penalty in it because chances are if you've put stuff down, then something's gone pretty horribly wrong for you and it's probably cost you a bunch of money anyway. So there's not really any point in fining people. But yeah, I think that's important to note. Big hello to Chris Travato who's watching on there. All the nicknames, some of these nicknames you can't actually repeat live on the on there, and some of them I just don't want to get caught out with. But
No.
Josh, Nick, I can say hi to you guys. Psyop Gypsy. There you go. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We've got a bunch of people already watching on the realstreetperformance.com live stream here today, and I don't think we're too far away from getting back into the racing because having a look down there on the racetrack, we're now doing the drag. We've picked up all the ash off the racetrack, so I don't think we're too far away from getting back into it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Unfortunately, when you run a drag strip, there is some downside, and that is when because we can't run these vehicles without oil. It just doesn't work that way. No one's in. Well, there are things called electric vehicles that don't use oil, but we're still kind of work out what happened.
We don't
There's
allow
still
them.
there's still potentially bigger troubles if something goes wrong with them. So let's just not have them. But yeah, we'll still keep a bit of oil in the sump. But yeah, when they do let go, whatever, whether that was an oil fitting or, unfortunately, the old rod outside block is one way to...
And actually, that's actually a really good point for all the racers that are out there in the pits. I know no one does it intentionally, but maybe while you've got a little bit of downtime, double check everything. Just go around with the spanner, just make sure everything's nipped up nice and tight, and make sure you particularly empty your puke tanks as well. That's all. That's always one that slips through the cracks.
It does.
Obviously, if you haven't had a run today, then probably not that important yet, but after the first run, definitely do that. We want to try and save as much downtime on the racetrack as we possibly can today. So
that is true. That is true. And again, that was in the back of my mind. I didn't bring it out at the drivers' briefing. Basically, we welcomed all the drivers. We do our little things like keep your speed down in the pits and everything like that. But yes, we just thought that would have been common sense.
Yeah,
it should be on a little checklist, I suppose. But again, by the time you get a car, and again, like hats off to anyone that can get anything to the track. We know how much commitment, we know how much preparation, we know how many dollars it takes. But then some things are like, who did the catch can last? And it's like, well, I haven't done the catch can. Some of these guys, they tested all yesterday. It's like, well, did you do the catch can every run? Do you forget? And then it's maybe times like that, especially that end of the racetrack when they're breathing heavy. Yep. That's where you will push a little bit out of the catch can. That thing kind of came back I don't think she was a wounded soldier on the way back. I think it could have been very well just that. He was dancing around, and remember down the end, he was driving it for a fair bit. But then when you saw where they obviously found a fair bit of oil was where he had the most amount of trouble. So that could very well have been blown out of that. There's a lot of guys with these cars now. Remember back in the day, you'd plumb the car up, you'd have your catch can sitting there in the engine bay and all your engine breathing pipes running into this catch can under the hood. A lot more guys now are running that to the rear of their car. So they're running them up the chassis rails, they're running over the diff, and they're essentially running the overflow or the puke, is an old term they use in drag racing, a puke tank. The old fuel cars would call that. And then, geez, don't those things breathe? Especially if you hold a piston. I think didn't NHRA years ago take that capacity to nearly 4 gallon. It was nearly like you needed a 4 gallon catch can, which was 10 odd litres of. But A lot of these guys now are running all of that vent, those engine venting overflow hoses through to the back of the car because it's smart. If the thing breathes, if it's in the engine bay, well, guess what? That's definitely going to get on the back tyres. And running them to the back of the vehicle is kind of, look, I don't think it's set in stone anywhere in a rule book because that sort of stuff only really deals with capacity. So you've got to have a certain capacity. I think it's 1.2 litres in most vehicles. But it doesn't tell you about routing it anywhere behind the tyres. It's basically a common sense thing that, and again, guys that build these cars for a living, race them as well, especially all of our spot-on guys, they build race cars every other day. They race them, but they also build them. So they're also, and it's not just them, it's all the other guys that build them.
They're mindful of these things.
They're mindful that they need, well, you know what, that's smart. Let's take the breathing to the back of the car so if anything does happen, it's out the back, it's not under a tyre, and you're not losing your car. Yes, you might oil the track, but you're not losing the car as well. But Janie, I tell you what, you'd be pumped. Now I had to talk to you just for a sec because you and Smithy, you and Mr. Smith, Mr. Jane, I should call him.
Mr. Jane.
You guys did the road trip. You guys did the road trip down. So you've turned this into a little mini holiday.
We have.
Yeah, awesome. You've been having fun. What'd you do?
It's been great. We went into Sydney yesterday and went to White Rabbit Art Gallery. If everyone
did you?
goes there,
Right.
go.
that
Absolutely
the brewery?
awesome at the moment. No, it's an art gallery.
No, there's White Rabbit beer, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's White Rabbit beer.
so
No.
there you go.
I hear White Rabbit, and I just thought it was a brewery. And let's be fair, it makes sense. You'd
Yeah.
go to a brewery.
We did go to a couple of bars.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
I knew it
craft beer
was in
bars,
there.
of course. So we've been doing that sort of thing.
I was actually going to put the stopwatch on to ask Janie how was the trip before she talked about that she ended up at a brewery.
Yeah.
Now, look, your reputation. And did you do a park run this morning, though?
No, I had to be out here too early.
Yeah, so no park run. She'll
Where's
do
your
one
commitment?
this side.
Shout out to Mark Allen who did go to park run today.
Mark.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Mark's watching. We've got a few people watching online. I know our friend from Kenda, Justin Simpson, watching online as well.
Juzzy.
Anabi,
Yeah. Juzzy's definitely watching. A few people giving us shout-outs on the live stream as well. Phoenix has said, Happy J Day, guys.
Yeah, it should be.
So,
It is a
it
J
is
Day.
Happy J Day. Christopher Honor, morning, Mr. Diggles. I'll be watching while you're working hard and I'm on the boat.
Oh, he's
So
on the boat.
He's on the boat. There
So
you
Chris
go.
Honor's going to send me a photo of today's catch. It'll be a barra or a snapper. He's done that nearly at every other event I've been to. He gets on and he shows me. And you know what, mate? You can have that, Chris. You can stay on your boat and you can catch the fish, mate. Whatever floats your boat, mate. That's not me. I'm not a fishing guy. If I can't catch a fish within the first 5 minutes of fishing, I'm out.
You're bored.
It's
That's
like
it.
Jane going somewhere and not getting a beer within 5 minutes. She's the same. Or going to a park and
We're
then
painting quite the picture of you this morning, Janie.
Or going to a park and then breaking out in a 4K.
5K.
Sorry. Well,
5K?
yeah, but she's still got good knees, mate. My knees are shot.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Are your knees shot too?
Yeah, it's just because I'm a fat bloke.
Well, the other day, let me tell you, everyone's phone's got their pedometer or their health measurement. So you actually measure how many steps you've done a day. Rusty might get into triple figures, right? If you're working
Every
in an
now and
office,
then, yeah.
it's probably 40 steps to the bathroom and back. So by the end of the day, Rusty's done 400 steps and gone home, right? The other day, I had a pretty busy day, I think Wednesday. Now, look, where we had to do a job, which finger was that, Rusty?
You know.
We had to do a job where you had to walk a fair way back to the vehicle, right, to get your bits and pieces. So between walking there and back, up and down this ladder, that day was 11,500 steps and 32 flights of stairs. You don't think the old pain away had to come out after that, mate?
You might do that today with the lift
I know,
being
the lift's
out.
not-
The lift being out in the tower here at Sydney Dragway. I've walked up the stairs once, and I'll go down them when I finish, and then we'll be done.
I'd like to know if someone can tell us by the end of the day what is the problem with the lift. Is it a hydraulic? Is it an electric?
Dave could tell you.
Oh, you got stuck in it last night. So it's your fault.
Our great friend at Overtaking Lane managed to break the lift.
Because I'm wondering, if we're relying on an outside industry to help us, I'm sure we've got clever enough people. Can we get a Nexus R5 Heltech to control up and down in there? Can we get some? Do we need billet components to fix the lift? We could fully Jamboree the lift, and mate, not only is it going to be more reliable, it's going to be bloody fast. I can tell you that. Also, it was the heavily experienced people that caused it. I've actually read. Don't you notice that when they do those load ratings in the lifts, it's like, well, this lift can take 22 people and a ton, and they'll do my sums, and it's like, really? So the average person in this lift's got to be like 60 kilos or something like that? And I'm standing next to two big blokes. I said, mate, we're over the average. One of us has got to get out, mate. Especially when the thing goes to take off and you hear this... and to go, that poor old cable, or whatever they use these days. But no, that's right. My knees will be shot. If you see me with knee braces by the end of the day, you know that the lifts have got me. But I'm ready. My racket's ready. I've been down there. I've made sure old trusty rackets down here. Roger
You've
racket.
been getting pointers too. You went to the squash.
I went to the squash the other night. Watched the Australian Open.
Is there much translating from squash to J-Day?
Forehand is a forehand, backhand is a backhand. Watching the Australian Open the other night, watching some of the world's best players, they don't use the forehand at all. Like they're rallying in the backhand side. They're never driving down the right hand side. They're all up the backhand for some reason. It does hand-eye coordination. Honestly, if you've ever seen some of the world's best playing in the small court, which is not a tennis court, it's way faster than any other racket sport you've ever seen. And then you just can't believe that these people can play like they do. And honestly, I don't know where our Australian players are. As I said, four of the world's best are from Egypt, and Spain seem to be the countries that seem to play it the most. But I certainly enjoyed the Easy Times Brewing sponsorship there at all because, beers Janie would have been in her element. Like she would have, I mean, let me do the sums. 4 games, average of 3 games, it's 12. You could have had a dozen. Could have had a dozen beers by the end of it. Nice. I can't remember how I got home, but it was a great night, I've been told. All right, so we're on that final application here. So you've seen that the contaminants had been picked up. We've used the vacuum truck to get that up. We've rubbed it with the 2 tyre sleds. I don't think we needed the rotator, but now we are just applying what we need to down there at the basically from 1,000 foot on. We are at the beginning of J275, fantastic bracket. As we said, a small tyre bracket. It's not often our radial racers get to run over the quarter mile. Of course, the fantastic Kenda 660 series over the 660 mark, the 8th mile as we would call it, is just really put small tyre racing on the map. The J275 category here at Jamboree, brought to us by Boost Line Connecting Rods, is over the quarter. So radial racing over the quarter here at Jamboree. I know in the past, and again, I don't know about the hot conditions today, I don't think PBs will be everywhere. Mind you, watching back the Real Street live stream last night, that dusk testing right at the end of yesterday, that dusk when the heat had kind of nearly gone, that's when a lot of really good numbers came out. I think we're going to have to ride through quali, and I reckon by about round 1 or round 2 this afternoon, especially Chicago Shootout, where you get that chance to try and get a win, is I think everyone might start hitting their straps. As I said to Con, that's down there at the moment, Con Mikolodakis, who's tuning a variety of different cars here this weekend. It's going to be a tuner's day, pretty much, because horsepower's not a problem. We've got the horsepower.
Everyone's got the horsepower. And the other thing is, it's not so much the temperature. The heat is one thing. It's not good. It's the humidity out there at the moment. Yeah. The air is so thick with just water. It is just absolutely steamy. And, one thing that I've learned from the track prep guru, Justin Simpson, is that it's not necessarily about the temperature of the racetrack. It's actually about the UV. The more UV that you get on the racetrack, that actually has a much bigger impact on the way the racetrack reacts than what the actual heat does. So there you go, Justin. I do listen every now and then when you talk.
I hear you, mate. I can definitely reiterate about the old UV. Back in the old plumbing days, I used to see it, mate. You'd go in and change an old toilet suite for someone, old plastic toilet suite, and it's yellow, and it's like, hang on, never gets direct sun, but guess what it is? It's that UV that just gets into that bathroom. And now all the air cons I change, you get in, you get old, they go, oh, you're replacing this one. You go, oh, here's the old yellow. Here's this yellow air con on the wall. I'm sure everyone's seen one. Never been in the direct sunlight, but it's just that Australian
UV. Just leaches in.
We are just getting absolutely smashed by UV, and here comes that sun. So, look, no worries about getting temp into the track. It's about how much horsepower we've got to manage on this track during these difficult times.
And just a reminder as well for everybody, I know that you're definitely going to do it because you're outside and I'm not, but make sure you're staying hydrated, make sure you're slapping, doing all the stuff to look after yourself today because it is going to be a pretty warm day out there and we don't want to see anybody hit the deck. So make sure you are staying hydrated, make sure you are covering up and using the shade that we've got here.
And if you did forget your hat, make sure you go up to Jam Central and grab one of the Jamboree hats.
Exactly.
And if you want to go on the kids' rides, we've got them up there now. We've got the old...
the swing chair.
Is that the swing chair?
That's the swing chair.
Yeah,
Yes, and then we've also got a Flora's Lava combo
Ooh,
castle.
wow.
Toddler jumping castle. We'll have face painting. I think that was from 10 o'clock. Free activity books, and there's a colouring in competition. Now, I do know about the colouring in competition. So if you want to get the colouring in competition, the thing that you need to colour in, this is for all the kids, go down to the merchandise shop down there in the pit area. Get the merchandise. You can get it there, and then you can, once you've done it, you can take it back down there, and the winner's going to be drawn at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay.
So get your entries in for the colouring in competition.
So I would assume they've also got, obviously, if you're going to do a colouring in competition, it shouldn't be BYO colour. I'm sure there's pens there to do it with and everything. I think that'd be it, wouldn't it?
You would
assume.
an airbrush?
No, well, I mean, you know what? It's funny. I'm doing.
You're in the seniors class.
Well, it's funny we should bring that up because I've actually been doing a little bit of colouring in the last few weeks. Because again, back to Mr. No Tech, here I am at home with all of my pens and paper and doing a few logo designs of late for a couple of different things. Got a Gordito shirt nearly finished in design, right? And guess what? You've got to colour that in. So guess what? I've gone to Officeworks and I've bought myself plenty of sets of colouring in pens. And I've been there. My wife comes home and I'm there at the table like a 6-year-old. Joy, what are you doing? And I go, oh, it's secret. I don't even want to tell her.
My homework's due tomorrow.
Yeah, my homework's due tomorrow. But no, I'm still doing it. And let me tell you, there's that colouring in contest. Make sure you put your name on that stuff. And it's great to see the kids out there in the kids' rides. Jambo, we always deliver for the kids. And we see so many great kids coming out. And then in the future, those kids are going to be Jamboree kids for life, I hope. And one day they'll be able to come out and run something. I don't know what kids of today are going to be able to be running at Jambo in the future, because
a Bill at J for the colouring in comp would be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, wouldn't it? What?
I don't think that is the prize. I think it is going to be a merchandise pack.
Yeah.
But so I'm just planting the seed.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just planting the seed.
Very good
Maybe
idea.
a mini one.
Yeah,
Little mini J.
Little J.
Anyway, we're back on track now. It is J275 presented by Boostline Connecting Rods here this weekend. Lee Povey and Andrew Coles. We have got the racetrack back into raceable shape, and that is absolutely fantastic. And we got two of the hitters of this category coming out now.
Yeah, how good's Colsey with this spot on Fox Body Mustang down there?
It's such a cool car.
It is Public Enemy. I love it.
You know what? Since last year, they decided to re-chassis the whole car. So look, it was an X2 Henry car. It had a centrifugally supercharged big block in it. They put the Noonan Hemi in it with a Liberty. Over the break, whichever break, over Christmas, they've re-chassied the car front to back. It's now 500 pounds lighter. It's got a 3-speed in it, no Liberty.
And what happened at his first event that he raced it at?
Yeah,
he won.
He won.
He won it.
He
Took out Kenda, what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, he took out Outlaw 275 there. And we're going to go to Bump City. I'm going to say it right now. Lee Povey, Andrew Coles.
Morning train to Bump City.
It is, here it is. All right, Coles just getting himself ready. Now get hit your feet. About a 6-second time over the quarter yesterday. Povey 7:46, right on the money. Oh, Colsey 6:75, 197 mile an hour.
Very late on the shoots as well down there.
He's got himself hopefully pulled up there. But yeah, as we said, that car 500 pounds lighter than last year. He got it. Yeah, he's pulled it up. And yeah, that thing's still not all the way to the finish line, I don't think. I think Andy ran a 690 yesterday, and that was off 1,000-odd foot. But for Povey, 740s, considering that car can still see a little bit of street miles, that's pretty decent. And I'll tell you a story a bit later about Lee's wife, Anna. She's got a new radial car getting built at Spot On at the moment, and it will be a completely different car than what you'd think a VL wagon can be.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. Exciting times.
All right, here we go from South Australia, Graham Horner. Now, hasn't this guy grabbed small tyre racing since Dragway at the Benders open down there? It's a Dart 400 LS Space VH Commodore, and Brent Coles, Andrew's brother, with that LSA RX8.
So I didn't actually see it on the screen because we don't have a camera here, a screen here. But apparently there was a fair bit of drifting going around the bottom corner, a bit of Tokyo drift from Colesy.
Is that from Coles?
Yeah.
There it is there. Flat spot. Flat spot.
Let's see how Brent goes now. He's out of there. Here comes Horner in the Commodore, but it's all Coles on this run at 940, 144 miles an hour. What's the Commodore going to come up at? 716, 198 miles an hour.
Yeah, Graham's gone as quick as at 7:00 at 200, so that's just a nice little settler. And you know what? Brent knows that he's not going to be in that low 6-second area, but he's going to not only make up the numbers in J275, but any of these guys actually do zing the tyres, it will definitely be, you know, one of those guys that can snap a win here and there. Peter Rahayan just sent me a message going, where's my footy? You know, the question's back to him. I lent him a footy a few years ago when he was a kid and I never got it back, and he's asked me right now, where's the footy? I don't know, Junior. And of course, don't forget the sound off up the hill. The kids rides with face painting up there as well. And the sound off going to be on a little bit later on. And yes, we will give people a heads up in the future if we get a big oil down. We didn't know how big that was until it was. So I suppose you guys will keep reminding the team about that. If that means I've got to go crack some balls off early, I'll do it. All right, guys, here we go. 2Js at both sides here.
Absolutely, it is Ayan Setnay, the kebab house, Wetherill Park, can vouch for those kebabs. This may shock you. I have had a kebab or two over the years, and very, very nice kebabs. Asai House as well, Wetherill Park. He's taking on Danny Lansdowne. The VL Wagon, this is without a doubt one of my favourite cars that runs in this type of racing. It is such a cool looking thing, the big wagon. RB30, and looking to lay down a number here.
All right, that was me messaging into the group. So not only double 2J Bump City.
Just buzz the tyres a little bit there for Lansdowne. Just at the transition, Centenay goes through for a 717 at 200.23 miles per hour. Looked like it might have been hazing something out of the left-hand side of the car down there, and I just missed the time for
710.
710. There you go for Lansdowne.
Yeah, 710 for Danny, and so both those numbers deep into the 7 second zone. I honestly didn't think that, because of our heat yesterday, I honestly didn't think we were going to get down to that pointy end of the low sevens, high sixes, but there we are already. Couple of 2Js. And of course, Noon and Hemi, number 1. And we ain't done yet because there's a few other heavy hitters in this class as well. How about this? Peter Finanos from Valencia, the 20B, of course. I think this is the ex-Kevin Awad car. I did watch some of the Real Street live stream yesterday, and this thing came out of the hole with a power wheel stand, the RX-8. And I think he had to pedal it after that, but that thing is, Pack 20B on board. Very stout. Entrant 5973, no details yet. It is a Commodore. It might be, no, it's not Buddy Nasser, 6359, 5973. We'll get that guy's name by the end of the day. The VK Commodore. So that was about coolant, is that right, Rusty?
Coolant, that's what we're hearing out of Centenay's car down there. So that's going to be require a little bit of a tidy up down there in the left-hand lane. It's not usually the easiest thing in the world to clean up, to be honest. Usually got to burn it off the racetrack, so that is unfortunate. But hopefully it's nothing too significant. We can get it fixed up as quickly as possible. Big hello to everybody watching on the Real Street live stream. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. And yeah, a lot of comments about the drive job from Colsey earlier on, getting it down around the corner. Obviously, they're watching the screen, so we were looking out the window here, but they were watching what was coming up on camera, and apparently there was a fair bit of sideways action going around the bottom corner there, down there. A lot of rounds of applause for the drive job, so to keep it out of the sand. Yeah,
197, I think, there from Colsey on that run, and that's a little bit further towards the quarter mile for him. I know yesterday, I think the 690 I saw, it had sort of been off the throttle early before the finish. But, yeah, just having a look of our doing a little bit of a replay here. We can see it from our live stream watching here on inside the commentary box. Not seeing on the big screen for now, but we are watching we're just watching a replay here for people listening or
I just want to see it
right
for my own records here. Shoot didn't come out till way late down there. And he was on the picks pretty hard. The thing's moving around a bit. Oh, yeah, he was moving.
Oh, there's a full side drift down the bottom there.
That was a very good effort.
Yeah, one shoot by the look of it too. So Jesse Ferguson says reckon there was one shoot out. Graham Horner back after a nice early 7-1 as well, 717. Danny a 710. The Supra into the 7-1s as well. So how's that? This is Australian small tyre racing for you, which I know we see a little bit in the United States at different events, like, they've got the TXK25 happening at the moment, where, yes, 2Js can be quick, like White Rice over there just set the new radial quarter mile record at 6:22 at 229 mile an hour. You want to talk about 2J on radials. 2J on radials through the quarter, 620s at 229 mile an hour. Mind you, air conditions at the moment over there in the States, very, very cold at some of these tracks when they're doing this. So actually that's making all the horsepower. If you were to bring that sort of car over to here right now and put it down this track with these weather conditions, it won't make that power. It just won't. But yeah, those really good track conditions, air conditions, certainly get the most out of them. So yeah, the 2J, international language of 2J, we speak it the same as the Americans. Our of course, Noonan Hemis, they know what Noonans are over the United States because
they love their Noonans.
They love their Noonans. Any of the big horsepower guys are using the Aussie Noonans.
The Aussie Noonan, very important.
They almost got to change it to just call it Aussie Noonan, and thank goodness they got to the States to start making them, or else old Uncle Donald will be tariffing them.
Yes.
For their aluminium and steel. Actually, imagine if they said, yeah, there's a tariff on aluminum and steel. We said, no, this isn't aluminum, mate. This is aluminium, mate.
This is billet.
Yeah, billet. So we'll get the billet. So yeah, just as and normally with coolant, this is what we do. It's just that little. We just give that track a little bit of a rub, and we normally could kind of let the evaporation do the rest because the track is kind of warm. But look, unfortunately, 2 delays in the one category today. It's not good. Sometimes
less than ideal.
Yeah, less than ideal. That could be another one where the old catch can might have caught him out because, yeah, look, it's not in the rules that you need to run. I mean, you can have one puke tank. Yes, you could probably run coolant to the one puke tank. Yes, you can run probably the engine breathing into that. I learnt that the hard way in my own car, is that when you do have both going there, if your engine gets a little hot and you are discharging coolant from your overflow into that catch tank, then the engine starts heavily breathing on the run. You're blowing a little bit of that surplus coolant around in the catch can, and maybe that's what we saw there. I mean, it was doing it relatively early in the run, but I mean, honestly, from where that car was starting to make some steam down the track, yes, that thing's pushing 60 plus PSI out of it. Yes, you can forgive the engine for breathing a little bit, but if it has got that little bit of surplus coolant in it, blowing that straight out, and that's what we saw. When it has a little wisp like that, we can't just go, that she'll be right, mate. We'll give that a nice little rub and get that out of there in no time flat. But we are truly, well, we're diagnosing for everyone, aren't we? We're basically telling everyone what their problems are.
That's right. We're not even looking at the cars themselves. We just know.
Well, if you've seen enough like we have go down the track, you start after a while, you kind of know, kind of what you're seeing and just know that when we hope, it's like anything, as we say, check your catch cans, drain them every run if you can, especially all the boosted cars, which is 98% of everyone, except when you get to all motor today. Make sure you got your
no boost in all motor.
Make sure you get your earplugs in by the time all motor comes out today, because that's our loudest category, and I love all motor, especially at Jambo time.
I know you do. How long until we see you in all motor, Mr. Diggles?
It's going to be a little while, mate. It seems that the lower the horsepower you've got in a car, the more time it takes to get it finished.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
If I said I had a 2,000 horsepower car coming out, I'm sure I'd have a lot more help to get it there, because they want to see me try and wrestle 2,000 horsepower, which I'm never going to do because I'm a chicken.
Make sure as well that you go and check out the Trader Alley, as well as the Jamboree merchandise tent as well, because there is a brand new range of merchandise from the Jamboree team. Event T-shirts, sub T-shirts, caps, straw hats, visors, hoodies, lanyards, kids' shirts, and heaps more available at the Jamboree merch tent located at the West Bank on the top of the stairs. So make sure you do go over and check that out. And, of course, in terms of the traders that we've got here, we did have a few more that we were expecting to be here, but unfortunately what happened in Queensland last week with an unexpected visitor in the form of Alfie has kept a few people away. We do have Garrett Turbo here. I can see them up there, the Garrett Advancing Motion boys up there with the big Garrett tent. Fueltech's here, PRP, Precision, My Car Hobby Shop, Sadek Racing, Nitrous Refills, Shannon's Insurance are here as well, and Toy Locker as well. So plenty of stuff to do today. It's not just about the racing on the racetrack.
No. Is it a conflict of interest if I actually went and entered in the colouring in competition?
Not at all.
Because I've had my eye in all week. I could really belt out a hell of a good...
You had some practice.
Yeah,
Did you bring your pencils, though?
No, I've chewed up all my crayons last week.
You've had a few days of testing too, just in a different way.
I did. Here's the 2J boys coming back there after their first run, King 2J and the Wags. That was a good run there for Danny. Danny, I don't know what his PB is in the car over the quarter. 7:10, 197 seems
bit slow.
sounds like it's quick. I don't think he's hit a 6 in that thing yet. Has he? Well, we'll get on to that. Janie's...
We'll get our people onto that.
Sure.
I'm glad that
the
you're
vast
actually...
team of researchers that we've got here in the back room.
No, just Janie.
Just Janie. Janie with a mobile phone.
I just throw the subject up there and then someone can correct me later. Like Murray Walker used to say, unless I'm very much mistaken. Been watching a little bit of that this week. Of course, there is some race down in Melbourne this weekend as well. Not as much horsepower as here, honestly.
I was going to say, it can't be Jamboree Melbourne, can it?
No,
because we're here this weekend.
No, that's right. Well, down there's another filming for Drive to Survive, I'm sure it is, where all the guys in the seats there are really cashed up to get there. If you watch that last series off Netflix there and you look at all the guys like Charles Leclerc and...
Charles. It's Charles. There's no S.
There's
and
no
Leclerc.
S. Is the S silent?
Yeah,
I
it's
suppose
Charles.
if you're that rich, I suppose you can, mate. So I could be just called Chris Diggle.
Well, it's Charles with a dollar sign.
No, I don't need the S on it. Yeah.
Chris Diggle.
Yeah, Chris Diggle. Digley. I was not born in Monte Carlo with a silver spoon in the mouth, but just to watch all the cashed up kids that are now Formula One heroes, and then you look at some of their early history, there's like 5 of them together, Alex Albon and Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. They all came through karting at the same time, and they shot some early footage of these kids in karting. It's like, oh, yes. And
you could tell.
Hopped in your Rolls Royces and got driven home afterwards, I'm sure. But here, all these people have risen to the top through hard work and determination. And a lot of these guys are predominantly in that construction game, a lot of them. The guys got their own workshops, of course, and have built empires through racing, but there's a lot of people out there that can build you a whole city if you wanted. If you wanted to build a new metropolis called Bump City, we can do it. All right, so Peter's out there in that RX-8, but yes, our gentleman in the VK, we do not have said details as yet.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do the street lights flicker in Bump City?
Do street lights flicker? No, we can't have that. We can't have that. Not every... the traffic lights do, if you don't stage properly.
Right. You've got to stage it right.
Honestly, mate, we don't want to set everyone off. You've seen how many people go on a phantom amber in Bump City where it gets in their head. But no, the street lights are all fine, mate. They do not flicker. I did a hell of a Bump City design last week, and that took me 3 hours to colour that in, let me tell you, mate. There's a lot of little windows in the city, and I had to colour them all in. But yeah, here we go. Just goes to prove you don't have to bring, you can bring a small block, you can bring that 2J, you can bring an LS, you can bring, we've got a Barra coming up here next as well. Here we go, 20B bumping in. Sounds all good for the first half of the track. 503 to the 8th, 784, 174. Here comes the VK. Okay. And you know what I'm going to try and do a little bit more today, and you guys can either do it or not, is that I've been really enjoying when you watch back the Real Street, like yesterday, the Real Street testing live stream. You've got both microphones on, you've got the mics on. So I was hearing all the engine yesterday, and I figured today, I thought to myself last night, I'm watching it going, I want to give the engines more today. So I may not go nuts for the whole run. I want to hear these things go. And we're hearing them on the mics, on the cameras. And I know a lot of people, when they watch them, and I had the same feedback at World Time Attack.
Yeah.
They want
like
less
to hear the
commentary. They want less voice. They want more engine. So
especially during all motor, please.
Oh yeah, all motor. We won't talk. We'll just talk them up. Before, you know what?
Paul Matheson's 1300 wagon. We'll just let that do the talking.
I'm still hearing that thing. But you know what we might do is just try and talk them into the beams. So talk them both up before we get to the beams. Check this out. Ian Turkovic. I think this is the one with the Viper V10 in it.
Ooh.
Ah.
V10 Viper Datsun 1200.
Taking off Barra.
Yeah, Barra bump.
Barra Bump City Disco Dane.
Tell you what, Turkovic actually picked the front end up in that car, which with that engine in the front, it's a pretty fair effort. 851, 142 miles per hour to an 882 for Disco Dean at 117.
Yeah. Something going on with the panel van because Disco didn't take it to the finish line. He only just took it past, probably 1,000 foot, then rolled off. But yeah, V10, when I saw 8 litre, I thought that's got to be that V10 one. All right, Cam Riley. Now, this is Australia's quickest car on a 235. Anthony Kurovsky from Menai, New South Wales, the LS 427. And look, this guy knows what side of the bread's buttered on. Sponsor is his wife.
Very smart man.
Mrs. Kurovsky, thank you.
Yes. Surprised he hasn't got a name down the side of the car.
No, well, I'm sure she would be embarrassed if that would happen. Imagine if he's cruising out to a Cars and Coffee and that, and his wife's name's on the side. So I don't know whether or not Cam Riley has still got the 235 on the back. Because it's J275, yes, you can run any radial tyre up to the 275, but whether he's still got the 235 on it or not.
Looking at, it's hard to say from where we're sitting. It's hard to see.
But this is the largest gathering of VKs in one bracket. Hey, we've got plenty of VLs to come.
We've got lots of VLs to come.
But for those people watching all over the world, the Holden Commodore, a domestic product. Bump City, bottom bowl Bump City. Cam rolls it in here.
That's deep.
7
Bump
seconds.
City.
Little wheelie. Good run for Cam Riley. Check this out. 7:10, 2:03, 7:27 for the other VK. My goodness, the world's quickest VKs. 7:10. We've got 2 at 7:10 and a bunch in the 7.2s.
No mile per hour, I noticed, for Kurkovsky there. So, Buddy NASA rolling up to the line now in the Commodore. He's going to take on Peter Budzewski, the VL Commodore. Is this the first VL that we've seen today? I think it might be. From Illawong down there on the south coast.
And we had Povey in the VL earlier.
Ah, that's right, we did too. Had a few questions on the live stream. Where's the rotors? Well, the rotors are coming.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Don't worry about that. The rotors are coming. Generally, J275 not a category that is famous for its rotaries, but we've got plenty more that will be coming out, of course, with Pro Compact, Pro Turbo, Factory Extreme, and, of course, Street 289, and All Motor, of course. So there's plenty of rotors left to come. People are asking about the timing board. Yeah, there is a little issue with the timing boards. They're not quite bright enough to pick it up on the screen, but we are going to try and read out all the times throughout the day. So, yeah, if you listen to the commentary, as much as you want to mute us, we'll be doing our best to try and get those ETs out to you. So, Buddy NASA now rolling up for Washington Australia, the Coating Garage, and Romeo NASA Racing. Very lazy on the tree. It's getting up and moving down there now. And through the finish line for an 862 at 169 miles per hour in J275. I think we're moving into J315 now, so that does wrap up J275 for boost line connecting rods. Moving into J315 now, and I love this car. This thing is just cool. The 69 Mercedes-Benz 280S with a 540 cube big block Chev with a whopping great supercharger on the top. It's got a PSI on it, this thing. It's got a Whipple on it, does it? I was just looking at the injector hat from where we're sitting, and it's definitely not the standard fare when it comes to Mercedes-Benz on the drag strips.
I do believe though it is EFI though. Like it is EFI. It's not your mechanic. It looks mechanical, but I do think it's now EFI.
That's a very unusual combination. Are we going to get the times left up a little bit longer?
I have asked for slight delay on all of our screens,
right,
just to make sure that we get all the info, including our qualities. Of course, you know, we'll have back in other tracks. We have the magic button that just pulls the screen back, you know,
I
back
thought
to
we had
the
a magic
quality.
button.
We used to have a magic button, but we can't find it.
It's been stolen.
Bit of a stut and a stutter there for Guy Hall.
I think it looks like it hit second just as he zinged it. 925 at 120 mile an hour, but the bends, it leaves an impact everywhere it goes, that car. I mean, where else do you see a 69 Merc with all that jewellery hanging out? That is 1K, folks. I can't believe it. I almost need a cup of tea to lie down. That is the first category we've had, J275, run and done. I don't know. Did it say 275?
No, it was 315.
Okay, so
I think it might be the only car that we've got in 315 for this first session. So we are going to move into...
Must be Street Compact, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it is Street Compact. Awesome, awesome. This is, I hate to say this is our entry-level class because, I mean, we've got guys coming into pro categories nearly straight away these days as well, but I do love the Street Compact category. No details on both of these cars except the Hyundai and a Mazda 3.
Michael Crouch in the Hyundai.
Yeah, right. Hyundais, get used to them, I tell you, get used to them. 1426 at 99 and 1389.
Question, is it Hyundai or Hyundai?
I just say
Hyundai.
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 Hyundai. I feel like I'm saying it correct.
Matt codes at
Hyundai.
Is the
1389,
S silent?
99 miles an hour.
Hyundai. Hey, but I tell you what, get used to them because that's the Korean manufacturers. They've made no secret. They want to out Toyota one day. They're getting there. They're pushing that in line with Hyundai and of course Kia with the GTs. They are in for performance. They realise there's $1 in it. Elijah Bendevsky in the Sora. 1JZ on board, you would say. Craig English, the Celica could very well be the same engine, the RA60 style. 1383 and a 1444 for the Celica. Something's cranky down in front of us here.
It definitely sounds it, doesn't
Something super cranky. Now out here is our Cressida, got black track on the back. Now issues here in the water for Ashley Bagdonis. Now, small story about Ashley Bagdonis. He had purchased the ex-Ben Diggles Nissan Gazelle and owned it for a few years and did nothing with it. Well, guess what? Brother Ben has bought the Gazelle back off Ashley Bagdonis, and Brother Ben with his 2 sons, my nephews, are redoing the Gazelle for more Jambo duty in the future.
How good's a Gazelle?
Awesome.
Except the old FJ20's not in it anymore. I won't quite tell you what he's putting in it, but he's already got it in it.
The one thing, though, a Gazelle, it is the worst name for a car.
It
ever.
is over here, it was.
It is terrible.
Hey, 1077 there for Bradley Halliburton in the Cressida. But yeah, you're right, Gazelle. Of course, it's a Sylvia.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, but we got it as a Gazelle.
It's a Gazelle.
Gazelle leaping and springing through the fields of South Africa. Yes, the Gazelles. Someone's cranky still here. Is that we got all motor in a sec, so we nearly got a.
Okay, get your earplugs out.
Tell you what, this has got to be nearly the smallest street compact field I can remember at Jambo ever, because this is the last pair, Ahmad Hamdan and Adam Bruman. Now look, apparently I heard when he was in scrutineering that Adam had hurt his normal car and he's put the Ranger in today. Because when I saw that, I go, mate, don't start a new trend, mate. Because we're just talking about diesel assaults at Willowbank off their head. They're coming. Yes.
So Ahmed Haman in the GDR goes across the line for 11.97, 123 miles per hour. And Adam Bruman, we're getting out the calendar. There it is, 18.25 at 74 miles per hour. Now, if you can't already tell, I think, I'm just going purely off the noise here, we might be moving into all motor. What do you think?
Sorry?
Yes. Confirmed.
I think we're going into all motor, Rusty. I love all, like it is. It's loud. It goes to show that you can do something with less, and less is more to me.
And there's some interesting concepts in this particular category. The RX to Craig Wasson down there, I think you can call him the king of all motor at the moment, well and truly. Have a look at the wheelie bar on this car, the offset single wheelie bar. Very unusual, I haven't seen it a huge amount.
That's a Puerto Rican thing.
Yep.
There's a lot of all motor cars. They have events in Puerto Rico called Aspirados, and that's literally basically saying everything NA, no turbos. Mind you, they do let nitrous, like there's nitrous NA, there's nitromethane in NA. That's their Aspirados. Over here, of course, it's
listening.
all motor. Yes.
I'm listening.
There's Aggie DeSarkis in the RX3.
Oh, and silence from Craig Wasson. I did see something go shooting out of the car. I'm not sure whether or not it was anything important, but he's going to go through for 12.33, 119 miles per hour, 13.48 for Aggie DeSarkis.
Yeah, I just think it dropped out of gear or did something. It neutralised. He's grabbed it again. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, mate. We're a full construction site over here, mate. We might as well be building a skyscraper here. This might be day one of construction. We have got NA horsepower everywhere, and we're going to let them sing a little bit here on our Real Street live stream. Taz Gregoriou in the RX2. Now, I think that's Taz. I saw him in scrutineering. Left-hand drive, 13B. RX2, Sam Constantinou, the Datsun 1000 with a 12A, it says here. Oh yeah, Yeah, let him go, boys. 11.50. I tell you what, that's not mucking around. If that's a 12A Aspo, 11.52 at 120, 12.86 for Taz.
It's pretty hard to improve on a Datsun, but when you put a rotary in it, it's the only way, really, isn't it?
Jeez, Janie. Everyone met Jane, sticking the boot into the Datsun owners there. The only way to make it.
That's a great pass
She
for
said
Sam.
the only way to make a Datsun go quick is to put a rotary in it.
Oh,
Only way to improve a Datsun, I said. Datsuns are pretty
Yes.
good.
that's just mean, Jenny.
Matthew Guffork now in the second of the Datsun wagons. In beside him will be Andrew Stavropoulos. If you want to say that properly.
Stavropoulos.
Stavropoulos.
You've got to get the
The
Greek in
RX3.
you. The Greek.
With a name like Kasos, you think I'd do better. So 30B rotary. Oh, what's in this Datsun?
Here they
Any
go.
clues?
Andrew Stavropoulos, I remember from years ago, running.
Pro stock, wasn't
he had
it?
an EL Pro Stocker, 1291 and 1362 there for the other. When do you ever get two Datsun 1000 wagons in the one day?
It's great.
Oh, yeah. People are on the live stream going, where's the rotaries? Well, I think you found them, right? Here they are. Not all of them, of course. We've got plenty of them, but this is in this great all-motor class brought to us by Speedflow. Of course, 25 years young, located in Taree. Speedflow. There's his Corolla, Sean. And Elias Melky out there. We'll let him breathe a bit here. Let him go. Crazy stuff. And we hit to the finish line 20 and 14.54 at 73. I know it's hard for people watching on the live stream to just catch those readout boards during the day, so we're going to do our best to try and give you those ETs. And here's Junior. I think that's got to be Connor Fakinos.
Yep.
James,
James
this time.
Fakinos.
Well, Connor and something else. Anthony Gregoriou, the RX4. Oh, no.
That's a lot of dust. Did I see any bits? No, there were no bits. It was just dust.
That's what happens with those old Mazda clutches.
Yeah. Across the line for a 13.58, 102 miles per hour for Anthony Gregoriou. And 18.69 for Fakinos there.
Oh, my God, we can hear ourselves talk. We can hear ourselves think again just for
I've
a
still
sec.
got this ringing in my ears, though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you too. Now, look, here we go. Last but not least, for our first qualifier for All Motor is this guy, Jason Studley. Now, this guy, he's cleaned up All Motor before. Now, he's not using the rotary. He's using a rule we brought in many years ago in All Motor. Nowhere else in the world with Sport Compact rules allowed 6 cylinders in.
Right.
Or triples. They only let 13Bs and like 2 rotor and 4 cylinders. When we did our Sport Compact rules many, many years ago, we actually thought, well, you know what, wouldn't it be cool to see a really hotted up 6-cylinder or a 20B? Studley's got a Barra, an aspirated Barra in this Cortina. And, mate, this guy can not only cut a light, he can run on his dial-in, because All Motor is about dial-in.
Yep.
And Studley puts this thing into the 11s normally, and he's fared pretty well in All Motor at the end of the day. 11.98. It's one of the only autos in there too, so that means you can get some consistency in your racing.
These manuals,
I mean, it's hard to make the manual H-pattern stuff consistent, but he's done it. So keep an eye out on the Cortina at the end of the of All Motor today. So that is.
And that's it. That's it for Speedflow All Motor.
Pardon?
No Matheson.
No,
We didn't see the bush pig.
Was he coming out? Or
He's
has he heard
entered.
it?
He's entered. Hope
Well,
maybe Q2.
He might only need 2 sessions.
Maybe.
We're moving into Street 289 now. And Street 289, no bracket sponsor here this weekend, but I'm sure if you want to get involved, go down and talk to Kelly and Colin and they'll be able to sort you out. They'll hook you up. Patrick Long in the RX7 with the 13B on board, as all of them do, really, let's be honest. Shane Crichton, the Toyota Cressida, the 6-boost turbo manifolds car out of Thornton in New South Wales. Done a lot of racing with this car over the years and generally pretty quick car for what it is. So, Patrick Long from Wamberal. So 2 local, or relatively local races, both from New South Wales. And Patrick Long has certainly been a little bit of a wild man in terms of getting this car down the racetrack in the past. Oh, he had some pretty wild ones up in Queensland as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
All right, so yeah, Kreitz has got that, 2J, 1J, I don't know what he's got in there. It's got JZ DNA.
It's got a J something.
Patrick Long, yesterday I
Yeah,
saw this
did you
on the
see
live
this?
stream. He popped a strut out, broke a strut or something. The
Yeah.
front wheel come off, Nelly.
Really?
Burnout.
Oh,
He's
let's
bogged
hope
it.
you have done it again.
Kreitz is going to get one here.
That was really aggressive and very, very soft in the rear end, the way it just launched.
Let's see what Shane goes on this pass,
That's
though.
nice.
A 785, 174 miles an hour there for the Cressida.
Ooh.
So just typical Shane doing his thing.
Yeah, now
All sorts of issues there for Long.
that's going to be in a sweet spot. I think he got a 780 out of it yesterday in testing. So on that 28.9 tyre, I know he's tried a radial there before as well, but look, a 28.9 is still, it's one of our original classes back when we did all of our rules back in the days of Jambo and our Sport Compact when we first sort of drafted the rules. A 28.9 class, the old Osmod, that's another term that we used to use in Australia, no one else uses in the world, the Osmod.
Osmod.
And of course, if you remember the old super compact classes in Group 2 traditional drag racing, we had an Osmod class, double R Osmod or triple R Osmod.
Yep.
This would be like a double R being a two-rotor. But yeah, Patrick, yesterday, if you watched any of the live stream yesterday, it popped a strut off or broke a stub axle or did something. And he had one of the wheels came off in the burnt, or not come off, but wedged up under the guard, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But they fixed it. All right, Anthony Curry in the water, 2JZ.
Yeah, Tony Curry.
2J in an RX2.
Yeah, I think that's our.
How do you feel about that, Janie?
Not so good, especially because Tony used to run rotaries.
Hodjo's
Anyway.
elaborated on Kreitz. It's a 1.5J. It's a 1.5
It's a 1.5J.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Right.
Does Hodjo still get to have a say? He's not here, so I don't think we should listen to him.
He's probably riding 100 Ks today on his
pushy.
carbon fibre
out,
pushy.
Out to his NDRC
Probably-
office and back again.
Probably Wollongong to Melbourne and back because cyclists can do that. These cyclists, they tell you about these massive trips, and it's like, man, how can you do that on a pushy? All right, here we go.
Eric Sligar, SICK 100. RX3 with the 13B, strong burnout. I think that's the only way to describe that one. Very strong burnout in Street 289. Going to be one of the front runners in this class without a shadow of the doubt if all things go to plan. But that's why we put him on the racetrack, because things don't always go to plan.
Well, they were talking about it yesterday that they ran into the 720s with this car, and look, the claim is it's the quickest 28.9 pass ever. Look, if they believe it, I'm going to go along with it. I mean, it's hard to keep tabs on what everyone's doing, but that sounds like the quickest 28.9 run I think we've ever seen in the 190 odd mile an hour zone. As we said, Anthony Curry does say 2.8 litres here, but I'm sure I saw that thing in scrutineering and it had like a 2J in it, which might have been the old Hagenson car. Remember that the early days he had one of these in the 28.9s, probably pretty much dominant. Of course, I don't think we don't go dial your own in this class. We basically run them down. We give them the full tree, I think, and then whoever gets to the other end first is the winner. So here we go. SICK 100 racing for the RX3. Let's have a look.
Tony!
The throttle stayed on, and the throttle stayed on for Anthony Curry, and he has given that thing one hell of a wallop. A huge wallop off the tree. And look, thank goodness Eric hung around a little bit on the start line.
Yes.
But holy dooly, I know we're going to get a little replay. We'll have the luxury of probably getting a little replay up here on our Real Street live stream. In fact, we're going to have a quick look now. We'll try and relay that back to the people.
For the guys down there that ran down the racetrack, please let the safety crew do their thing. All right? Please don't move anyone out. Don't do anything. Just let the safety crew do their thing down there.
Look, hats off to Eric Sligar beside him, because, look, we just had a look at that replay and he missed him by 500 mil. Like,
wow.
He was leaving the line. So, look, Anthony came out on an O light off the pro tree, and here comes Eric now back in the RX3.
Change of undies may be required for Eric, but that was an incredible drive job. Put your hands together. That was...
If Eric's got any... I shouldn't say dash cam, but if you got a GoPro in that car, that would be some footage and a half. Yeah, we are looking at the. We're looking at another little replay of it. He did get the whole shot, the RX2, and I think it spun. By the time I think it was sideways, he still had some throttle on it. But Eric was just trying to do his run. And I suppose by the time he comes out, this RX2's in front of him. And literally, like, that could have been a full-on ugly collision, uglier than it was. But he has given that concrete a massive whack.
Yeah, that's a big hit.
That is a massive whack. It is so close. And look, there's some photos. Is that from Dave already there?
Yeah, from Dave.
Okay,
Drag
Dave
photos.
Reeds sent us a photo. It looks for all money in Dave's photo here that was going to be an absolute collision between the RX2 and the RX3.
I reckon it was closer than 500 mil. I reckon there was maybe 200 mil between the rear spoiler and the front end of Sligar's car. That was so close.
That was a monster incident. We don't want to see it, but that just goes to prove. We talk about these things being oversized toys, but they're not toys when this happens. So that's a shocker. So we've just got to do it. That's something that we've got to get cleaned up. But we're going to get that sorted. We've got our ambulance, our paramedics down there checking him out.
Look, fortunately, I don't know whether the cleanup's going to be too long on this one because from the point of impact to where the car stopped, it's actually not a massive distance.
No.
So I don't know that we're going to be down for too long at all once we can get that car picked up on the tilt tray and moving off down there. Just a lot of glass, a lot of bits and pieces that we need to get up. But,
The good news is Tony's out of the car.
And that's exactly right.
Unassisted.
The car's done what it needs to do. It's protected the driver, and cars can be fixed, people can't. And, that's a real shame because gorgeous little car as well.
Absolutely, and I think it definitely had the potential to be sort of, bottom sevens potential. But, yeah, as you can say, these things on the small tyre, all that horsepower, if they break... And we don't know whether that's just wheel spin. We can have a look at the tyre tracks. It looked like it was turning the tyre early, about 60, not even 60 foot out.
No,
you can see the marks. The thing one of them gripped a little bit more than the other, and off it went sideways. And, yes, I am Leanne. Leanne, I am coming down. Yes, I'll get the old forehand. The Burnout cars are coming too, I do believe, too. So we will come down. Rackets down there. We'll clean all that up. Right. Here all your mates out here. Get them on... text them, get them out. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to be warm, but hopefully we can... keep you as cool as we can and get you to forget about the inconvenience of the heat and more about the stimulation of all the high horsepower energy that we have here at Jambo. So I'll go down and try and reward all the early people for getting here by getting their catching mitts on while we get this all cleaned up.
Real Street is an international retailer and distributor focused on finding new and better ways to be your favorite place to buy parts from. Parts that we know could be purchased elsewhere if we don't exceed your expectations. Your builds are expensive investments that deserve a premium experience. We are a group of over 30 car enthusiasts who have found a way to earn a living doing what we love for people who share our obsession with racing. For 18 years, our experienced staff has helped racers pick the parts they need to meet their goals the first time. We understand that missed deadlines mean missed races. If you're ready for a premium buying experience, give us a chance.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Founded on a passion for motorsports and a commitment to innovation, Fueltech has established itself as a leading developer and manufacturer of high-performance vehicle control units and automotive electronics. Our mission is to provide cutting-edge technology and solutions that empower enthusiasts and professionals alike to push the boundaries of performance and efficiency. Fueltech, everywhere.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Two, one, up in the air. There we go. Geez, I tell you what, there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm there. I know it's warm outside, but come on, you can get a little bit excited, guys. So we've got plenty of merch to give away. And while you're up there at the merch tent, make sure you do also check out all of the new range of Jamboree merchandise that's here this weekend, because they've got everything. They've got the sub hats, they've got the shirts, they've got T-shirts, they've got kids' shirts, they've got visors, they've got straw hats, they've got everything you can think of. Oh, we're going the overarm throw now, Mr. Diggles. That was a little... I don't want you to exert yourself there, mate. We don't need you to have surgery or anything, all right? We don't need you tearing a rotator cuff or anything like that. I don't know how many balls you've got to hit down there. Oh, no, he's clutching the... Janie, he's clutching the shoulder. Has he had an injury? Oh, no. Do we have a resident Jamboree physiotherapist? We might need one today if he's going to keep throwing him around like that. All right, are we going for another ball, Diggles? Do we have one more ball? Right. Who wants the ball? Are you going to make some noise? Who wants the ball? All right, we're going to count it in. 3, 2, nah, they're not making enough noise. Do you want the ball? Yes or no? You can reclaim this for a prize. Make some noise, guys. 3, 2, 1. Get after it, Diggles. Put some spice on it. Oh, no. It's a loose ball. Tell you what. That was a worse carry than what Penrith had in the game last night. That was absolutely shocking. Couldn't hang on to it there. And we're throwing T-shirts out. We're throwing everything out. I think we've got some burnout cars down there as well. I don't know whether they're going to be coming out onto the pad. I think we might need to actually clear up the pad down there as well before we can send them out there. Hopefully we're not going to be down for too much longer, and we'll be able to jump back into the racing, I do want to say a big thank you to all of our partners here this weekend. Of course, Garrett, Advancing Motion, their naming rights partner, the leading automotive turbocharger provider, supplying technology to every single automaker in the world, nearly every automaker in the world. Their innovative turbo technologies for all applications enhance vehicle performance, fuel economy and drivability, and they cover the full range of engine sizes from sub-1 litre economy engines to premium and high-performance V8s and V12s. So a massive thank you to you guys. Have you got a microphone down there, Ned?
Uh-huh.
Oh, there we go. I was wondering where it was.
Shoulders shot the shoulder. First quarterback pass of the day, shot the shoulder. Still got the forehand. Yeah, so folks, we're in between manufacturing new black balls. There's been a tariff put on them or something, so we'll obviously be doing that in the future. But every single one of these balls, now we don't have many of them, but they're a lucky ball. The lucky ball means you can't keep it. You take it to the Jamboree tent and hand it back.
These are very noisy chairs.
It's the only way that we're going to be able to hit balls out is that you take the things back, we bring them back. So you might see this purple ball get chucked out a couple of times today, but when you do get it, don't keep it, take it down. I know if you're happy with that, that's fine, but we want you to take it back. The system works best that way than just keeping it. If you take it back, that's how we get it back. So I will hit one. I could probably see if I could hit one over there. I reckon I could get one over there. I know everyone's looking for shade. It's good that you're all in the shade. Of course, when I hit the thing up in the air, it's going to go into that shade cloth thing, or out of the pure skill that I did here before, it went between the gap. But I'm going to... You reckon I could try and get the other side? I don't know. I don't want you to go running around and falling over or anything like that, all right? But I'm going to try. I'm just going to see how it goes. What do you reckon, Rusty? You reckon I try and get it to the other side? I'll just see if I've got a different coloured one. Hang on. Something that's a bit more visible. Oh, yeah,
yes.
Give us the yellow one.
Yes.
Give us the yellow one, just for now. All right, just for now. Remember, these things have got to come back. So people over there, if you get this, you've got to take it over to the Jamboree tent, okay? Okay, we've got a couple of people there, righto. I'm going to try. Folks, just bear with me. We've put two over there. Let's put one over there, right? Okay, I'm going to try, okay? 3, 2, 1. Look, I'm going to give myself a bit of head start here. Don't trust the forehand just yet. Don't trust the forehand just yet. I'm going to just send one over here just to see, all right? Before I get run over by a burnout car. You all right? You ready? Can you see me? Can you see that? Can you see that? It's pretty bouncy. All right, I'll give it a shot. Okay? Could go anywhere. Give us a countdown. 10, 9. Oh, yeah.
We have people everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, we've got it for you, Diggles. Don't exert yourself, all right?
I think I need a restring. I thought I had more. I need to put more. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Don't have to hit it anymore. Thank you. Remember, you can, don't keep it, take it back over. The mics work really well here. Rusty?
Tell you what, you're sucking in the big ones down there, Diggles.
No.
No?
Hang on, here we go. Burnout time. All the way from NZ, hey? All the way from NZ. Bit of burnout stuff.
It's it.
Okay, Australia. You don't get too many New Zealand burnout rotary guys here in Australia. Come on, give him a clap, cheer and a whistle. Whip him up, come on folks. He's come all the way from New Zealand to be here. You better make sure you give him a big cheer at the end of this. Mr. Ralph omits the plate on it. From the land of the long white cloud. Making it his own long white cloud. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all good. Oh, come on, give a round of applause, folks, all the way from New Zealand. Land of the long white cloud, indeed. Oh, he's got more. There we go. Ah, the Cosmo. Oh, good. Oh, whoops. Ouch. Oh, folks, you want to see him back again? Make a big clap, cheer and a whistle. How's that? Mr. Ralph. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, man. We don't get a lot of that. We don't get a lot of the rotary burnout stuff. Not over here in this part of the world. I know in New Zealand they're absolutely nuts for it, but how good is it? And look, I'll quickly get them picked up.
Yeah, New Zealand are a little bit sick. They love burnouts. The rotary guys over there are just insane. They love torturing them things, you know.
And we don't seem to see a lot of it in Australia, like the rotors especially. Of course, we'll see a lot of V8s doing it and a few six-cylinders, but it's just something about a rotary. It just sounds more full-on, doesn't it?
100%, 100%. In Sydney, went to drag racing, but the New Zealand boys, wow, nice.
Oh, and I'm sure when Mr. Ralph comes back out again. And the thing is, I mean, it's probably not really nice to them to do that.